Hello everybody, welcome back to the fourth, or actually third video of this tutorial series. So today I want to talk a little bit more about Git and Bash, which this is something I forgot to cover in the last two videos. So first of all, I want to teach you how to delete a branch. So for example, in this Git folder, let me check the branches I have. I have two branches, one is master, one is temp. And what if I'm just done with this temp branch and I just want to get rid of it? So to do this, type git branch -d and the branch name. So, okay, so this is telling us temp has not yet been merged to master yet, so it has something on its own. Are you sure you want to delete it? Yes, I'm sure. So, okay, and then do a git branch again. Done. Okay, so next thing is some very easy and useful command in Bash script, or just in Bash actually. First thing is cp, which means copy. So for example, we have a toy folder here and a folder here and a first.txt. So let's list the content of a folder. As you can see, it is empty. And now I want to copy this first.txt into this A folder. So just do copy and then the file name and then the destination. Okay, and now let's see the content of A folder again. Boom, it's there. And okay, so to remove it, just type rm, which means remove, and the path to the file. Okay, this again. Okay, it's empty again. Now we can use mv, which means move, to move the file. So now we can move the first into a folder, and the list is there again, and it disappeared from the current folder. Okay, so next thing in Bash, one dot means the current folder. So for example, actually let's go into this folder, and then remember in last video I told you like we can use cat to view the file content. So type out, you actually don't have to do this, but just to demonstrate the functionality of this dot, so type dot and slash and first.txt. So it means like open this file in this current folder. So yeah, the content is iOS is great. And next, two dots. It means the parent folder. So for example, we can do go to the parent folder, and then go to a folder named A folder, and then open the first.txt. Okay, so iOS great. What we have just done is we go to the parent folder and then came back and then opened this file, which is pretty redundant. But I mean, like in a lot of circumstances, you will find these two shorthand pretty handy. Okay, so yeah, for example, you can use these two dots to go to your parent folder. Okay, so to remove the entire folder, all you have to do remove an rf and type the folder name. Otherwise, Bash won't allow you to remove a folder. Okay, So, and this tilde here means the root of your current user account. So, for example, do cd and tilde, I just gone back to the root of my account on my Mac. So do list here, you can see all the like default folders like applications, desktop, and this kind of stuff. Yeah, and then this single slash here means the root folder of your entire computer. So cd slash, now we are at the very bottom of our entire file system. So do this, we can see there are other applications here, but these two are different. So these are like var user temp, like those very common Unix system folder. Okay, so yeah, that's so much for some common bash shorthand and commands. Okay, so next thing is I'll introduce the panel, like this entire environment of Xcode. Okay, so at the top of Xcode, you can see here is our control panel. Use this run button to run your project and to basically build your app, and you can stop this session using the stop button here, and here you can actually choose your simulator. So now I'm using iPhone 8 Plus, but yeah, you can choose from like all these kind of simulators. Usually I like to use iPhone 6s for some reason. Yeah, and when you have connected your own phone to your computer, it will like appear somewhere here. But as I said, you will only be able to test them on your phone if you have a Apple developer account. Okay, and this is like the status bar. It will indicate the current status of your project, and this is like indicating how many errors or warnings you currently have. And this is showing you the standard editor. And if you click this, it will actually like show two editors at the same time. So yeah, you can see both files at the same time, which is not particularly useful for this reason, but it is very useful when you are opening a storyboard on one side and a file on the other side, and you can use this this assistant view to connect the objects in your user interface to your files, which we will demonstrate later. And this is version editor, no, not very important. So these three buttons is the ones you can use to actually close and open the panels on the sides. When sometimes you feel the central editor is like too small, you want a bigger area, you can just toggle the right panel off, for example. Okay, so on the left panel here we have our file finder. So yeah, this is actually just file explorer. We can switch between files easily, and this is a like Xcode's built-in Git support, so you can see our branches here. Because I just deleted temp, you can see we only have master here, and tags is something you will use when you release your app. Not important. So yeah, this is something you can use to easily like switch like between your methods. So C means class. See, we have like this much class here, and inside the class you can jump around between between the methods you have written. And this is like finder. You can type in the string you want to find. This is the warnings and errors. This is test. This is hardware information. And oh yeah, this breakpoint is something you will use when you are debugging. So just click the side of this number bar to add a breakpoint, and when you like run your app, it will like stop here. Yeah, I mean just delete it now. And this is okay, yeah, this is also something about build and debug. Okay, so this is just a file editor here, but when you oh yeah, fair to say. So here we have some Swift files, and also we have two storyboards here. So storyboard is a very powerful tool in Xcode where you do your UI design, so user interface design, and these files are like really the backend functionalities which are supporting the user interface. So you can understand storyboard as the face and these files as the brain. And I will demonstrate the storyboard later. Okay, so in this panel, we have a console here and like a variable. I think it's called something like variables view. Yeah, and this little bar here is tools we can use to debug. When we have breakpoints here, we use this button to basically jump to the next breakpoint and continue our app, that kind of stuff. And this console here is pretty important because when we're running our app, all of the system information will be printed here. And also when we have any print statements in our file, the output will also appear in the console. On the right side, we have a file inspector and quick help, which is not very useful for our normal files, but it is very useful for our storyboard. So now we can take a look at our storyboard. Okay, so that takes a little bit of time. Okay, what you're seeing now is really the general structure of this app, basically. So you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4 views, and this view, actually, let me make it bigger. Yeah, so this view is like the prototype of this view, and this view here is something correspond to this view, and this little arrow here represents that they are connected in some way. Okay, so storyboard is really a very convenient doodling board for us because we can just go to this object library and randomly just splash something in. For example, if I want to add a button here, just search for button and drag and drop. Done. We added a button. Okay, just leave that. Yeah, so we can really design our user interface just by drag and drop, which is like very convenient. And also these panels here are very useful. For example, we click on the image view. This size inspector allows us to change the size basically, and also when we click on the label, we can also look at the sizes. And this attribute inspector, yeah, so we can change our font size and the alignment and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, And for the entire view here, it is controlled by a view controller, and we can actually select this view controller by clicking this little yellow stuff here. And this is like, in this circumstance, this identity view controller become very important because we are basically setting the file which is controlling this view through this identity inspector. So as you can see, this view is currently controlled by view controller class, which is this file, so viewcontroller.swift. All of the backend functionalities of this view are implemented in this class. Okay, so what we do is just type in the class name and hit enter here. Oh yeah, so the last inspector here is called connections inspector. So as you can see in this view, we have a lot of connections. This is because now we can use our assistant view. So so each view controller is a subclass of UI view controller class, and if you know design, you know that all these are like the members of this class basically. And for example, this member here, name label, which is of type UI label. So this member here corresponds to, yeah, let me magnify, correspond to this label here. And now in our code, we can do anything we want to this label, and the changes will like appear in our user interface. And yeah, as you can see, this connection inspector basically lists it just lists all of our connections between the user interface and our file here. Our name label is, yeah, just this one. Okay, so sometimes, like for a lot of reasons, our like outlets connection is like ill configured, and we want to delete them. It is very convenient to just come to this inspector and click this little X here. Yeah, okay. So sometimes people will have a hard time to find these like objects. So just remember, come to this object library here, but not this kind of template and snippet and media library. Although they're important, but I mean, when you forget like where to find a button or a table view or like where is a view controller, just remember it is like the third stuff here. And yeah, so these buttons are like sorry. So these buttons are something you can use to aid your UI design. So for example, click this label, and now you can set the constraints, basically the constraints for the positions of this button actually. Yeah, okay. So that's so much for today, and in next video I will create a brand new project, and we will really start to build this app step by step. Okay, see ya.